everyone, welcome. I'm Becky Rose. Last week we worked on opening the outer hip by coming into a reclined version of Swan, either taking reclined Swan on the mat or we took it to the wall. This week we're going to work on sleeping Swan. So for some, sleeping Swan may cause pain in the knee. So if you start to get into this pose and you feel a pain or a stretching in the knee, please come back out of the pose and look at last week's video so you can take the reclined version on your back. So to come into sleeping Swan, you're going to come onto all fours, taking your right knee up to your right wrist or outside your right wrist. And then your right foot, it's going to stay relaxed, and the right shin will come somewhere between at an angle or completely parallel across the top of the mat. So if you have less room to bring the shin across the top of the mat, your right foot's going to come closer to the left hip point. Turn your left toes under so you can lift your left knee up, and then scoot your left thigh back and lower the left knee back down and bring the top of the left foot behind you. If you feel like you have a lot of space between your right hip and the floor, take a blanket or a block and then you can just support that side. And then start to find your first edge. So you may start to feel an opening in the right hip or in front of the left thigh in this upright version of Swan. As that feeling starts to dissipate and the body opens up, you'll start to lower the torso down towards the floor. So as you fold forward, bringing the chest towards the floor, you can support yourself on your forearms or forearms on blocks. And then to come into your first version of the pose, you're going to feel that moderate opening in the outside of the right hip, a tension type feeling that you can stay with for a few minutes. So stay in this version of the pose for 5 minutes and use the first place to be here for a minute or two. And then as the body starts to open, you can lower the torso closer down to the floor. So maybe you started on blocks and then you come down to forearms. And then when you feel ready, you can come down even further, chest reaching down to the floor, head on your palms underneath the forehead. Or you can come all the way down to the floor, letting the shoulders and arms relax and the forehead rest all the way down. So some of you may feel this the most in the bent knee hip by folding all the way forward with the torso coming straight in front of the hips. Others of you may want to start to take the torso away from the bent knee side and then start to lower yourself down. This may allow you to get a little bit deeper into the pose and start to feel it more on the right side. But it's not how much you're feeling it in the right hip, it's that you're finding that sensation so that you know that there's a tension, there's an opening happening, and then being able to stay here with the hip muscles relaxed. So if you take the version to the side and your hip muscles want to tense up, come back to the center, relax the low back, relax the hips, and then just find the place where you're going to stay. And then after you've been here, walk your hands underneath the shoulders so you can bring the torso back up. And then come back onto all fours and you can set up for the left side. So the left knee will come to the left wrist or outside the left wrist, and the left foot coming all the way from in line with that right hip point to the left shin coming parallel with the front of the mat. Turn your right toes under, lift the right knee up so you can scoot the leg back, then relaxing the leg down, flipping the right top of the foot back onto the floor. Again, if you want to add support, if your hip's up off the floor, just bring a blanket, a pillow, a block, whatever you have there at home to support that hip. And then for the first minute, just walk into that first edge. So you might stay here on forearms and let your neck relax. You can keep it in line with the spine or drop the head down. And then check in with the body. Notice if you're tensing in the hips or the shoulders. If you are, just let the shoulders relax. And if you're clenching your jaw, you can part the teeth. And relax the hip area so the body starts to open. As the body opens, it's okay to adjust the pose and come a little bit deeper. So you can come down to forearms or bring the forehead all the way down. And then rather than keeping the shoulders up, relax the shoulders down here. And to allow yourself to stay here for 5 minutes, really focus on your breath. So in this forward folded version of Swan, you're able to really feel the breath as it fills up the back of your ribs. And then on the exhale, there's almost like a surrender where you're bringing this relaxation into the mat. So use that focus on the inhale and the exhale to stay here for about 5 minutes. Again, some of you may take this version of Sleeping Swan and take the torso over to the right side when the left knee's bent so that you can get a little bit deeper into the head. When you're ready to come out, walk your hands underneath the torso to bring your body back upright. And then just counter the pose. So you can extend one leg at a time. Or if you know downward facing dog, you'll curl the toes under and lift the hips up. Just letting the legs straighten out. Maybe bending one knee and then bending the other. Stretching the back of the legs. So enjoy the freedom you find this week in opening up your hips. See you next time. Namaste.